Despite successful collaborations with top spitters like Eminem, Black Thought, Royce the 5'9", Jaron Benton, Tech 9, and most recently Logic, it would seem that Joyner Lucas is ready to be added to my favorite MCs list by now, right? He has the megastar cosigns, respect from his contemporaries, and most importantly, his pen game is among the best. But despite doing everything right at face value, why isn't Joyner Lucas taken more seriously as a younger version of artists such as J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar? The answer is a complex one, but ultimately boils down to a simple and either disappointing or powerful conclusion, depending on if you're a Joyner fan or not. For whatever reason, much of the hip-hop community thinks Joyner Lucas' artistic perspective is corny. Let's talk about his collaborations first. Commercially speaking, the biggest names he's collaborated with are Eminem and Logic. It is with these two artists that Joyner also enjoyed 2 of his first 3 Billboard Hot 100 appearances so far. Logic's status as an A-lister today is undeniable, cemented with his second #1 album in Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, and 11 songs reaching the Hot 100 in 2018. What's also undeniable is Eminem's status as a legend, as he's still the best-selling hip-hop artist of all time and one of the most technically gifted MCs ever. While no one can question Logic or Eminem's place in rap, both artists are also widely viewed as corny outside of their respective fan bases. With Eminem, the perceived staleness is due mainly to a decline in shocking, boundary-pushing substance in his bars, leading to work full of excessive wordplay but hollow messages, like the single Rap God or the album's revival in Kamikaze, the latter of which Joyner Lucas was featured on in the single Lucky You. While Kamikaze was much more respected than Revival, both albums are widely viewed as late career grasps that did nothing to tell us what we already knew, that Eminem is really good at rapping. Despite impressively holding his own with Eminem on Lucky You, M's bitterness and shallow takes on today's hip-hop culture made the entire album irrelevant to the greater hip-hop community, a shame since Lucky You was actually a top 10 Hot 100 single. Being paired with a legendary rapper didn't seem to help Joyner's case, but what about his collaboration with Logic on ISIS? Unlike Eminem, Logic is in his prime, yet similar claims of corniness plague the otherwise talented and accomplished young rapper. For one, Logic has received criticism for the lack of depth in his bigger messages, notably his commentary on race. While he's of the same black father white mother pairing as his peers such as J. Cole and Drake, Logic is visibly white passing, meaning someone who didn't know him would assume that he's white before anything else. While that is not his fault at all, it changes the expectations the rap community has of his commentary because his black identity isn't as outwardly vulnerable as Cole's or Drake's. So when he tackles huge topics in his music like racial inequality, which he does often, critics consider his statements bland and punchless. Lindsay Zoladz of The Ringer says the following about Logic on his album Everybody. Whenever he looks up from his own experience, Logic very often seems out of his depths. He arrives at his conclusions too easily, we are all one, is too often his logical crutch. Despite talking a big talk, everybody's observations about race in America feel strangely defanged and self-censored. If it were a Kendrick Lamar album, he'd have to call it Darn. Along with his nerdy aesthetic, Logic's We Are All One sentiments are a huge factor in his artistic appeal. It's why 1-800-273-8255 is his biggest hit to date. Unfortunately, the hip-hop community beyond Logic's fanbase sees Logic simply as an odd character who raps his story well, but can't hook the whole culture with his bigger ideas. It also doesn't help that Joyner Lucas himself called Logic corny in 2017. Despite his recent collaborations being some of the biggest names in rap, Joyner hasn't been able to win over the hip-hop masses with these cosigns. So what about his solo work? Among his deeper cuts, Joyner has skillfully and passionately took on issues such as depression and his own black-white identity on songs like I'm Sorry and Half. That being said, his remixes of trendy rap hits and a viral music video for I'm Not a Racist has proven to be enough fuel for people to keep the claims of corniness against Joyner going strong. I'm Not Racist catches flack for a lot of reasons. Most importantly, the single has been said to be an oversimplification of America's issues with race. While the song is structured well and the video is both creative and captivating, many black commentators took issue with Joyner equating centuries-old violent racism to black unemployment and inner-city crime. In many ways, the song suffers from the same We Are All One approach to issues Logic has been criticized for. This was explained extremely well by Damon Young of Very Smart Brothers, who says the song is cool the same way 2 bags of Cheetos can alleviate hunger. It's an empty coolness because of the concept. The song and the video is based on a faulty premise. Although with I'm Not a Racist being met with a lot of criticism, some of Joyner's most popular songs are his remixes of hit rap songs such as Gucci Gang, Mask Off, and Bank Account, with his Gucci Gang remix being the most popular at 66 million YouTube views. In these songs, much of the criticism Eminem and Logic face, as previously summarized in this video, have been applied to these Joyner remixes. Shallow criticism of today's rap scene, overemphasis on technical rapping, and generally hollow messages. With lines like, "What's a little pump to a rocket flame," and "a bunch of drug addicts in a house of pain, hope you suffer till you pop a vein," Lucas critics often say his critiques of rap trends come off as preachy and tactless. As shown in these remixes, much of Joyner's discography is colored by the same lack of subtlety, a quality of his rapping that admittedly turns off even some of his fans, as seen in forums on sites like Genius and Kanye Twitter. Rappers that dedicate their art to sharing their worldview have very little margin for error. One of the only mainstream rappers in today's game who has seemingly avoided any serious accusations of corniness is Kendrick Lamar, a great accomplishment in its own right considering how ambitious his work has been. Even J. Cole, despite years of respect as a top rapper who resonates taking on race, class, love, and hip-hop culture, has found it difficult to avoid the rumbling wave of corniness accusations. Considering how small the list of non-corny conscious rappers are, even when you add names of past legends like Tupac and Phife Dawg, it is no surprise that in today's crazy world, the biggest conscious and technical rappers are not connecting with listeners in some key areas, Joyner included. In conclusion, Joyner Lucas is a very talented rapper with potential to extend his prime years beyond 2019. While he's beginning to see chart success and is comfortable with making controversial art, his heavy-handed approach to social commentary and resentment for the latest generation of hip-hop artists may continue to be enough for fans and critics to exclude Joyner Lucas from any serious list of best rappers out. This has been a HipHopMadness original. Make sure to stay tuned and stay up to date with everything we got going on by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HipHopMadness and join the movement.